Hello traders, this is Blake Morrow and you are listening to the week ahead video for October 11th, 2020. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Happy Sunday to you. And I have to mention that next week will be Columbus Day. A lot of people are wondering, will the stock market be open? And it is a bank holiday in the US. Currencies will be trading. I believe the equity markets are open. It's just a bank holiday, so the bond markets will be closed, and you might see some limited liquidity and movement in the afternoon, but we'll still be at it. So just want to let everybody know. Now we're going to talk a little bit today. We're actually going to talk a little bit about ForexAnalytix. Alongside with analysis and what we are looking forward into what we're looking for into going into next week, and kind of like the big moves that happen on Friday. But before I go into all of that, let me mention to try out ForexAnalytix. It's only $1 for 10 days. We've reverted back to our previous pricing where you can actually try out ForexAnalytix, and you should try it out. It's only $1 for 10 days, and then you get to try out the premium version, which is $119 a month. Even if you decide to use the light version, which is only $19 a month, that gets you the app and the basic technical analysis, the patterns in play for the basic technicals analysis, the webinars that are for clients only. You'll be able to have all that access for just $19. And like I said, you get the app too, so you get notifications of things that are happening as they're happening. And this whole platform right here. So try it out. Try out ForexAnalytix. It's $1 for 10 days. And then you get to try out the nice version. The premium version with all the bells and whistles. That's what I meant to say. Because the light version for $19 is still great value. Great value. All right, and plus you get this little data flash here, right here, that will show you when news events are coming out, and it'll alert you as they're coming out, as the news is breaking. So it's pretty cool. Okay, now I am going to talk a little bit about ForexAnalytix and how I think you can use ForexAnalytix to your benefit, because I think there are some features that are unused or maybe unknown. So I'll talk about that throughout the this webinar, but I want to talk about what's happening in the currency market right now. So what we've seen and what we saw on Friday is we saw the dollar sell-off accelerate. So the euro actually closed well above 118. This is the old neckline to the invert, or to the we're looking at a head and shoulder pattern or rounded top, however you wanted to look at this. There were several ways to look at it, and I know a lot of people were looking at it different ways, and I was looking at it more as a rounded top, but you could have looked at it as there's a shoulder, head, shoulder type of thing. Well, the euro dollar continued to grind higher, and then on Friday we pushed higher above the 50% retracement, taking out the neckline. And does that mean it's bullish? No, it doesn't mean it's bullish yet. It means it's consolidating still. I tried to play it on the short side, and actually I did relatively well playing the dollar on the long side last month. I was playing mostly the US dollar Canadian to the long side, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But now we might be in more of a consolidation period, which could lead us to something that looks like this. We're still developing some sort of bull flag, or we might go through that wick and into the tops here, these wicks here, and maybe we only make it up towards 118.50. I'll be looking for the euro dollar to lose some steam up around the 119 level. Am I going to short it? I have a hard time shorting the euro unless it's intraday for 10 pips or something like that, or maybe a 20 pip gain. I do have a hard time being short the euro longer term. You guys know, especially those of you that listen to the broadcast every day on the F.A.C.E webinar, when I talk about the euro dollar, I try to be on the long side of it because I do feel that the euro dollar is taking some of the dollar reserve currency status And with the COVID response and relief coming from the Eurozone, I believe that fiscal unification, if you will, has allowed the dollar to the euro to take a little bit more of that roll away from the dollar as a reserve currency, but not, there's still a lot of things that have to happen, but it kind of put in an underlying bid in the euro. So I've been looking for more dips. I really wanted to buy the euro down at 115. And, we talked about buying it at 116, which I played it a little bit on the long side down there. I really wanted to get long down at 115. We didn't quite make it. So I'm not saying that we can't, but, that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I did play the dollar on the long side this last month. And one of the ways that I played it was with the US dollar Canadian. We played this inverted head and shoulder pattern and this move from basically 132 all the way towards 134. But last week when the Trump administration Donald Trump called off the negotiations, was right here. You can see that green candle right here, or white candle, the bullish candle. We call them, by the way, in ForexAnalytix. This is a good time to actually talk about this. In ForexAnalytix, when you're looking at the candlestick analysis, we call them black and white candlesticks. White being bullish, black being bearish. Even though the colors on our charts aren't necessarily that, but we call it black and white because it's the way that before, way back when, before we had colored printers, believe it or not, that's when I started trading. Your candles were either black or white. So that's it. It wasn't green or red or all these fancy colors, but that's why we call them black and white, just FYI. So what I was going to say is, this dollar Canadian was, it's still holding up. We had the neckline here, and then we started to bounce. And then the Trump administration saw the reaction to that decision, walking away from the, about fiscal stimulus. And, it was about 10 o'clock at night, Eastern time, Europe's sleeping. And a tweet comes out from Donald Trump that he wants to go back and negotiate some more. And so, the dollar Canadian fell. And, fortunately, I happened to be on my phone when that happened, and took some of my position off, let the rest get stopped out. Anyway, so I stopped playing the dollar Canadian really to the long side. And you can see we're actually pulling back quite aggressively, and we might find some support down here around the 130.75 level, which would be the 78% retracement, also 161% extension of this move right here. Okay, or 261% extension, excuse me, of this move right here. So we might find some support down here at 130.75, 130.80. But I want to talk to you guys about something that just came out over the weekend. Over the weekend, the PBOC had talked about. Let me just sum it up in a nutshell. They're a little worried about the won's strength as of late, and I think this was on Chart of the Day. Like, I want to go back a couple, 2-3 weeks ago, that we were selling off here. It was divergent at the time. This ended up not being divergent. We sold off pretty aggressively, but it did still bounce to the breakdown point. But you can see the strength of the won, or the renminbi. Now, we got further to go in this double top that you see here. But remember, it's a managed currency. So I try not to do technical analysis too aggressively on the won. I don't even trade it, frankly. But I try not to do too much analysis on it, get carried away with it, because I know it's a managed currency. And so China's basically saying that we've probably let it strengthen a little too much. And that might create a bit of a bounce in the US dollar CNH, which means that we could see the US dollar Japanese yen, which one of the reasons why we sold off here on Friday on the US dollar Japanese yen is because a lot of traders were looking at the the move in the US dollar CNH. So if we see a bounce in the US dollar CNH, it might stabilize the dollar. Okay, where the dollar has been losing strength. You can see here's the dollar index. It was selling off. We might actually see the dollar catch a bid. We might see a little risk off as well. So watch Sunday's open. It's going to be really interesting to see what the dollar is doing based on the comments from the PBOC over the weekend. A couple other things that are happening that are really important are the ongoing Brexit negotiations, and I want to talk about the cable, and I want to talk about what the cable's doing. But before I do that, let me talk a little bit about ForexAnalytix and some of the features that I believe that are going to benefit you guys when you're using ForexAnalytix. Let's talk. Just take me just a minute. First of all, when you're looking here at ForexAnalytix, you can see the news feed. All right, the news feed is from LiveSquawk. And the LiveSquawk news feeds are great because you can actually, get a link to, to where the articles are coming. You can see all of the headlines coming through. When the news is coming out, it's a great place to get really up to date on current data. Okay. The live stream, though, I think a lot of people don't understand what the live stream is. This is ForexAnalytix updates as they're coming out. The reason why it's important, because when you're going through your trading day, and I know a lot of people don't have an opportunity to read every piece of analysis that we do, which is great, or which is understandable, excuse me. But when an update comes out while you're trading, or you see a notification come by, you'll find it here in the live stream, and you can click on this link and it'll take you right to that update as it was being released. Okay. So this is also a place where you can go back and say, okay, there was a recent update on a pair I was looking at, so I want to go back and look at that analysis. Okay. If you look over here to the left, and this is the basic traffic light page, you'll notice these support and resistance levels. I want you to know that those are manually inputted by either myself or there's a couple team members on the ForexAnalytix team that will update the analysis or the support and resistance levels. We freshen them up usually once a day. And it's in the North American open hours, so basically around 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning New York time. These levels get updated. The reason why that's important is because when they get triggered, you'll get notifications on your app, on your phone, on your desktop. Make sure you allow for push notifications on your desktop application, so this way you can get notified when they're breached. Because those support and resistance levels are off of levels that we've talked about in our analysis intraday. They might be an important level that was referenced there. But remember, these are all manually done. So that's also important. Now, I'm going to talk about myself really quick because I do all of the basic technical analysis 95% of the time at the end of the New York session. So your end of day analysis for all of the instruments here, like all 30 of the instruments, are done by me. So that means if you're in North America and you have dinner and you want to go back and look at some charts, go back and read the basic technical analysis, and it's the end of day analysis. Every day on the pair, you might go, here's your end of day analysis, and read that, because that'll give you an idea of what I'm thinking. Okay. And I think that'll give you a certain perspective. Also, if you're in Europe, it's the first thing you can do when you wake up in the morning is you can go through whatever, instruments that you're following. And you can say, oh, what did Blake have to say about the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona? Because I'm really focused on that one today. Well, then you'll see the end of day analysis, what I'm referencing, and usually I'll go back. I might reference the previous day and whatnot. So anyway, I just wanted to bring those subjects up to you with ForexAnalytix. And also, I guess one last thing, you see up here, it says go to chat room. It's right next to your avatar. It says go to the chat room. The chat room is where myself and other traders are talking about the markets all day long. You can see here's like and this is a great comment from one of our traders. Alexander says wanted to ask a question regarding you can sit here and read it, and then you can read my analysis or read my answer. But this was an example of a trader who wanted some information on trading psychology and how he was approaching the market, and you can read through my response. But those are the types of things that we're discussing in the chat room throughout the course of the day. This happened to be Friday when things slowed down, and usually it's most of us just posting. Whoops, like over here, you can see us posting charts about what we're trading and why. Here's Amanda, why she was targeting that level. That's what we're talking about in the chat room. So make sure you go to the chat rooms when you're testing out ForexAnalytix and come see us there. Okay. Let's talk about the cable. And I'm sorry, I had to spend a couple of minutes talking about that because ForexAnalytix is such a powerful tool, but I think it's very underutilized, especially from the analysis perspective, because you might say, well, the whole team updates the analysis. Yeah, I mean, we do. We have Elliott wave, harmonic analysis, basic technical analysis, candlestick, macro, and you're like, who does the updates for Elliott wave and harmonics, but basic technical might be a little bit of everybody. But now at the end of the New York session, at the end of day analysis, that's me. So most of the time, 97% of the time, I would say. It's just if I have something to do that I might have somebody fill in, but that's very rare. Okay, let's talk about the cable. This is my chart of the day from the other day on our blog, and before this inverted head and shoulder pattern started to play out. The thing about the cable is I think a lot of people are short because we came out of this ascending wedge. But notice where we stopped. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for a second. And let's get rid of that little arrow that's been up there forever because I was showing you the false breakout of the ascending wedge. And let's delete this really quick. Let's delete this fib. Okay. Now I want you to see where we stopped. Rallied off the lows. We stopped at the 38% retracement and the 200-day moving average. Now, I don't know if a Brexit deal is going to get done. I would have to say the probability is about 70% chance that the UK comes, or the EU and the UK come to some sort of agreement. Will it completely yield a move, what we would call an AB equals CD type of move, where the cable makes a move to 147? Maybe over time, sometime in the next year. But that's what a 38% retracement typically will do, is it'll yield an ABCD type of move. Now that's looking a long way into the head and really far out, maybe by the end of 2021. But that would be the propensity of the cable, of the sterling on that type of move. So what I'm going to say is, as long as we hold the 200-day moving average, you gotta assume that the path of least resistance at this point in time is higher. Now, obviously, if there's a no-deal Brexit, things change dramatically. If we get like an Australia style I'm sorry that I misspoke. If we get a no deal type of situation where the UK has to leave without all of the trade agreements in place, yeah, the cable is going to break down. But like I said, I would say that that's probably like a 20 to 25% chance of that happening. So you have to imagine some sort of deal is going to get through. And it may not be the deal that everybody wants, but it's once you get some sort of resolution, that's when the market really starts to respond. So anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make is some pretty important decisions or conversations are happening this next week. And the cable really ended the week on a high note, breaking out above 130. But it's not just the pound against the dollar. You know, look at how the pound is trading against the euro. We're breaking down outside of this triangle. We had a little false breakout over here. We closed at the lows. If you look at the sterling against like the Aussie, we held some important support. New Zealand dollar, we held against some important support here. So the sterling could really, you know, pick up some steam against some of these cross rates. So that's something I want you guys to be paying attention to going into this next week. Now, we will be on the F.A.C.E webinar tomorrow morning. We will be, you know, broadcasting on F.A.C.E. So make sure you're tuned in and listening in as news is coming out, because next week we are also dealing with, you know, we got some economic data. We got like CPI and PPI in the U.S. We have Australian employment data, and we have Philly Fed out of the U.S., retail sales out of the U.S. at the end of the week. And we do have we have UK jobs numbers, you know, unemployment claims coming out Monday morning, Tuesday morning. But here's the other thing that's really happening in the U.S. We're coming up to an election, okay? And in that election, we have this negotiation that is taking place, and you know, the U.S. and with the Senate, well, Democrats and Republicans are really trying to hammer out some sort of deal. It's hard to tell if it's a rope-a-dope type of thing or if there's actually going to be a deal that happens. The fact of the matter is, even though the Trump administration might say that they can go a little bit more to reach where the Democrats want to be, the chance of that passing, it becomes kind of, it's hard. It's hard for it to pass because there's a lot of Republicans that aren't in favor of the current 1.8, I think it's 1.8 trillion that you know, the Democrats are like, no, we want 2 or 2.2, whatever the number is. But the fact of the matter is, even if the Trump administration comes up and tries to bring up that number, I doubt it's going to pass. I doubt they're going to get the Republican GOP support. So it's a very fluid situation in the U.S. And then also keep in mind that, you know, we're also watching the polls really carefully. It's going to be a very tricky next few weeks in the market. So, you know, if you're out there trading, just be really careful that, you know, headlines actually matter right now. And that's why, you know, having a tool like ForexAnalytix is really important. All right, guys and gals, I want to say thank you. If you like this video, please share, subscribe to our video, share, give us a thumbs up. Did I say share? Make sure you share that. All right, you guys have a great remainder of your weekend. I'll see you on the F.A.C.E webinar on Monday. My name is Blake Morrow. Sorry for the long video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.